to go. You're going to have to bear with me while I get my other device set up. How is everyone? How is everyone? I want to talk about fear. Oh, let's see if we can get this to go live now on Instagram. Welcome. If you are watching on, okay, that's not working. Let me try this again. If you are watching on YouTube, go ahead and hit the subscribe and the bell to get notified of whenever we go live on these times. Let's get the title here. Okay, let's do this. Now I have to look there in here, just so that lighting is better. Guys, I want to talk about fear being a prison. And the reason that I want to talk about fear being a prison is because I struggled with fear for my whole life. I mean, I don't know if there's anyone that hasn't struggled with fear, but over the 2020 year, I think we all felt that pressure squeezing out our beliefs, squeezing out what we found to be true and what we found to not be true, or squeezing out where our current settings were on our hearts and our minds. And I want to say that fear is a prison. It actually hinders you and traps you from moving forward and moving up into your purpose and your destiny in life. When I was younger, I actually used to suffer from severe nightmares, and I was so terrified of having a nightmare, which I typically had every night, that I would be so scared to go to sleep. It was crippling. Fear that was crippling, because I knew I was going to likely have a nightmare if I closed my eyes and I fell asleep. My nightmares were not the ones of falling forever and ever and ever and ever, and you never stop falling. Okay. Those, I feel like I've heard that those are typical scary dreams that people have. But my dreams were about the spiritual world and demons and people that I knew being possessed by demons and talking to me. And I was just terrified. So I was terrified of the dark, and I was terrified to stay the night at anyone's house, because I did not want to have a nightmare in their house. And then, you know, the shame and embarrassment of screaming in the middle of the night where everyone in the house wakes up. And that's a whole nother part and aspect of fear, that it creates these zones of shame. You know, having panic and stuff like that, because the people around you that don't have that same situation don't understand. So of course they say things they don't really mean, not intending to bring shame or humiliation, but that's what happens. So I would dread at some point. I stopped remembering the dreams that I was having. That's a whole nother story, but another part of the story. But I stopped remembering the dreams. So in the morning, I would wake up and it was like, oh my goodness, Rachel, you were screaming in terror. And everybody woke up. What was happening? And so then I began to be terrified to go to sleep and to wake up, because I didn't want to deal with the question of what was going on when I had no idea. This story is redemptive, okay? Because as I was having these dreams, my relationship with the Lord started to blossom and bloom, because I was unable to be helped, okay? Like, no one around me knew what to do. They were praying for me. And I believe that the prayers that they prayed actually empowered me to be able to have a conversation with God myself. And so I talked to the Holy Spirit, And as I was just interacting with him, he said to me, what the issue is that you don't know that you have the same victory in the night that you have in the day. I feel power on that still, because a lot of us need to realize that even though the day might look dark and darkness is upon us, the lights seem to be dimming, the power of God is the same today, yesterday, and forever. And so for me, fear was imprisoning even my thought life, so that I couldn't even think outside of that fear zone. My expectation was on the fear zone. So my expectation was being set, and I was establishing belief in fear. I hope this makes sense to you. No matter what our eyes see, dark is as light to God. So what I needed to learn, it doesn't mean that I don't have bad dreams sometimes and that I don't have fear hit me. But what it does mean is I discovered a tool and a truth that set me free from that ongoing bondage. Okay, so as I was, when I heard that from the Lord, that I needed to know that I had the same victory in the night that I do during the day, because I had no fear in the day, right? And when the light is on, and this is like physicality, okay? This is like the reality of light. I would run through my house turning on all the lights, because the light disperses the darkness. Okay, but God can see even in the darkness, and dark is as light to him, and it does not overcome him. So as I realized that this is the answer, the solution to my issue of nighttime fear and nightmares, I began to ask the Lord, Lord, show me that I am victorious even in my dreams. You know, when you're sleeping, it is like very vulnerable. It feels like the most vulnerable thing. You're not awake. You're not noticing who's coming. You're not noticing who's leaving. It's the unknown zone almost. Anyways, I began to pray and ask the Lord, okay, Lord, give me victory. Show me that I'm victorious in the night, the same as in the day. And in my dreams, I was having nightmares still. But in my dreams, I became an overcomer. Hear me when I say that. He takes you through a process. Okay, if you ask the Lord, he will show you the way. He will show you the solution. And it usually has to do with partnership with God. Okay, he's given us authority. He's given us authority, and we don't have to live in those prisons of fear and anxiety. Okay, a lot of times I read the word that says, be anxious for nothing, but in all things, submit your requests to the Lord in supplication and prayer. Okay, and sometimes that's a difficult thing to hear, because it feels like all of it is on you, right? Don't do that. It's kind of like a set of rules, it feels like. Or if you're in fear, you're not believing. And it's like, whilst that is true, there is actually a partnership that needs to happen. It's not me believing in myself, but rather believing in God's ability to bring me forth and make me victorious because of his spirit that lives in me. Well, I don't want to go over 10 minutes, so let's end there, and we'll keep talking about this issue of fear, because I've had a lot of opportunities to overcome in this area, and I'm sure that it's going to help someone who's watching. Okay, guys, well, I hope you have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.